दर्शकवृन्द नमस्कार। दिव्यदर्शन टेलिभिजनको आजको यस विशेष प्रस्तुतिमा यहाँलाई स्वागत छ। आजको यस विशेष प्रस्तुतिमा हामीले हलिउडद्वारा रेड सिनेमाबाट रेड क्यामेराका स्पेशलिस्टहरू इभान एगटन र जस्टिन ओनियललाई यहाँ बोलाएका छौँ। Justin and Ivan, welcome to Nepal.
Thank you.
And welcome to this show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, is it your first time in Nepal, Justin?
Yeah, very first time in Nepal, absolutely.
And Ivan?
Yes, first time.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Have you both heard about Nepal before?
Yes, absolutely. I've known about Nepal since I was a little kid, actually.
Oh.
It's been my dream to come here since I was just a little baby.
That's our pleasure to have you in Nepal.
Thank you very much, yeah.
And so how did you find Nepal? How is it? How do you define Nepal?
I found it beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. It's amazing. The people are amazing. The environment is spectacular. We saw a little sliver of the Himalaya today, but a little bit of cloud cover, but hopefully it comes out. We're going to the Mustang Valley tomorrow, so, or then in a few days. So.
Best of luck with that. And what was us? How did you find Nepal?
Yeah, it's fantastic. The people have been incredibly warm and very generous to us. So we've had a great time.
Okay, the main thing, why did you guys just visit Nepal suddenly?
Why did we come suddenly?
Yeah.
We came here, well, I got a phone call from Shambu with Moncton Digital, and he asked if we would come over and teach a group of filmmakers and cinematographers and people in the industry about the RED camera. And so we worked with Red Digital Cinema to coordinate us coming over and teach everybody. Yeah, so it was Shambu from Moncton Digital that initially reached out to us and asked if we would come, and we said absolutely.
Can you tell us something about this Red Cinema and its latest technologies?
Yeah, so the Red camera was the first camera to record raw 4K and it came out in about 2007, and it really changed the industry. It used to be it would cost about $150,000 US to buy, a cinema camera, and Red released this 4K raw camera for $17,500. So it suddenly made a camera that was a full cinema quality camera available to the independent market, and they really changed the industry. And now Red cameras are used on Peter Jackson's films. David Fincher, Ridley Scott uses the Red camera. So it's taken over Hollywood. It's used by all the independent filmmakers around the world. There are about 12 Red cameras here in Nepal. So it's incredible that Nepal can use the Red camera, the same camera that David Fincher, Peter Jackson, and Ridley Scott used. So that's what Red Digital Cinema has been about, is making that technology available to everybody at every level.
That's great for Nepalese. And did you? We just knew that you just did Dragon sensor to Nepalese filmmaker. Do you think Nepalese filmmaker will be very handy with that?
Yeah, it makes the incredible dynamic range of the Dragon sensor makes low budget shooting actually a lot easier. So I think it benefits low budget filmmaking incredibly.
Okay, fine. What actually is Dragon sensor?
So the Dragon sensor is actually a 6K sensor. So most of the cameras that you have now in Nepal are 4K resolution, and that means 4,000 pixels wide. And your standard, the television that most of us have now is 1,080 pixels wide. So if you look at a 4K camera, which is what Nepal has now, that's four times the resolution of 1080. And now you have this new 6K sensor that allows you to capture more detail. It allows you to reframe within the image, and you can, it just allows more flexibility and allows you to play. It also allows you to pull stills from the image. So this camera is not just for cinema. This camera is for news organizations. It's for the independent commercial production company that's out there doing commercials for local businesses. And the benefit to especially smaller production companies that do a lot of commercial work is they have the ability to pull stills from the actual motion. And so not only can you create a TV commercial, but now you can also take a still from that footage that you've recorded and have a magazine ad, or a direct mail piece, or a poster, or a billboard. And you don't have to go hire another photographer, which photographers don't really like that too. But you don't have to go hire a photographer, you don't have to rehire all the actors and rehire the location. And so it saves a ton of money by doing that. And you can still do that with the cameras that you have now, which is the 4K. And as a side note with the Dragon, this class, this education class that we did for you in Nepal, you are the first out of the United States to actually have this Dragon camera, 2 of them, and play with them. And this group is actually the first in Nepal's history to actually touch this camera.
Actually, I want to add a question on this topic.
Yeah.
As the projection system in every cinema is very weak, don't you think introducing such high-tech equipments to Nepalese filmmakers is too early? As a projection system in our country, in every cinema theater, is not that too high-tech.
No, absolutely not. Because you still can take advantage of the dynamic range of the sensor. You can take advantage of, we'll call it over-cranking, which is your frames per second. So not only can you do 24 frames per second, or 25 here in Nepal for broadcast, but you can also do slow motion, right? You record in 6K, you have a 6K master file that is similar to a digital negative or a film negative, right? When you do have a 4K projector, guess what? You're gonna have a 6K or a 4K master that you can then show. And you can record in 6K, and you can down-res it to 1080, right? So it's absolutely not a problem.
Yeah, I think the better your footage looks, that will encourage theaters to buy better projectors, right? Because if the master film itself looks incredible, then it encourages the rest of the industry to step up their game. So that's what we hope happens here in Nepal as well.
Yeah, and it happened quickly in the United States, and it happened quickly in Vietnam as well. And I think Vietnam is an interesting case study for Nepal, because Vietnam is also an emerging market, right? It's also an emerging market as far as artists and independent filmmakers, and even feature films. Vietnam, just a few years ago, was outputting a very small number of actual feature films. Now they're up to hundreds and hundreds of feature films per year. From what I understand, Nepal outputs, I think, about 130 feature films per year. You have about 5 blockbusters per year. So as that increases, it's just going to be better and better, right?
And it's been already 3 or 4 days you have been to Pokhara. How do you find the program session and the participant actually? How do you find the Nepalese technicians?
The Nepalese technicians
are they engaging in your program? They are concentrating to you? Or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the participants have been great. They ask very intelligent questions, and they're very attentive. Our class has been going sometimes 9-10 hours, and everybody is still paying attention and asking questions. And when the class is done, people are still coming up to us and asking questions, and the questions they're asking are very good. So they understand what we're talking about and the impact of the camera on the film industry, and they have a deep desire to understand the camera in order to deliver the best films they can.
Taking a lot out of the credits.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think you guys are actually paying more attention than our US classes.
That's probably true.
And the handling of the camera, and I'm not surprised actually. I know a little bit about your film market and about the technicians that you have and the cinematographers and directors, and you all are very, very skilled. You have some amazing stories to tell, and you guys know what you're doing. And so when you guys got your hands on this new camera, it was very quick that you picked it up, and so it wasn't surprising at all. And it's a very easy camera to use too. So.
Then I think this 4 days is not enough for everything should have been extended to 1 month.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think if would it be, who's the boss? Is it the Ministry of
No, I
Culture?
think this Film Directors Guild of Nepal, they organized this.
So the Film Directors Guild of Nepal, you need to kick up the number of classes you do. It should be longer class and it should be more frequent, and it should be built into the curriculums of your local universities.
Do you think it's equipments, the technology that the Nepalese technician lacks to compete with the international market for the quality?
Yes and no. Do I think that technology is limiting what you guys are able to do? Absolutely not. I think that, art, no matter what camera you're using, if you have a compelling story and you have skill, you can make something beautiful. However, to compete in the feature film market and distribution, yes, the technology will need to be updated. And it's happening. It'll take a little bit of time, but it's happening, and you'll be on a level playing field. And again, I come back to Vietnam. Vietnam started out with a very similar type of equipment, and just in a matter of a few years, they now have a huge number of reds in country, and they're producing films that are now competing with Bollywood, with Western Africa, and some of the other markets.
I think I've talked to some of the students, and they've told me the issues they have, and it's hard to get good lighting here in Nepal. It's hard, even something like an ND filter to put on a lens is almost possible to find in Nepal, and so that makes it much more difficult to get good images. But fortunately, with a camera like the Red, the increased dynamic range, the flexibility RAW gives you, that helps you with that situation, right? But the filmmakers I've talked to, they're definitely working within their limitations. So what we've seen that they've been able to produce is incredibly given what they're working with.
Okay, today you guys visited Sarankoot. How did you find the location for the outdoor shooting in Nepal? You guys mostly shoot in indoor.
Yeah.
Because in Hollywood you shoot inside the studio, maximum. But here we shoot in the exact location, outdoor location.
Yeah.
Today you visited Pokhara. How did you find this city, the location for shooting?
Yeah, it's wonderful because it's so colorful and vibrant, and the weather here, I guess, has been it's not as clear as they've told us. You can see the mountains on a clear day, which would be fun to shoot. But yeah, the scenery and the local colors and the people are so friendly. It's fun to shoot. Nobody turns away from the camera whenever we point it at them. They're always very open, and they act natural, and it's a very fun place to shoot.
And as a cinematographer, the light that you have is amazing. I mean, when I was in Kathmandu on that first sunrise, oh my God, grab the camera, run outside and started shooting. And then here, waking up in the morning and seeing that sun, it was just gorgeous.
Your experience of Hollywood and your suggestions, your last words to the Nepalese film.
The last words of the Nepalese filmmaker. I'm not sure what to say. I mean, you guys are doing everything right. I mean, you guys are passionate. The filmmakers we've met, extremely passionate. They know what they're doing. They have the knowledge. And as the money increases for your country, I think that you'll be able to afford the technology, and you have it now already. But you'll be able to afford more of it and get more of these cameras in the hands of more and more filmmakers within the country. I think it's not what you guys can do, it's just how fast you can do it, right? And hopefully you can do it much faster, because it's the amount of talent that you have. It's pretty amazing. And we look forward to seeing the films that you're putting.
I would say the people attending this class, they are doing the right thing. They have seen the latest technology in the cinema industry, and they are very interested. And I would say the technology is bringing the cost of filmmaking down drastically. And pretty much every 6 months, something comes out, either software, something in the lights become cheaper, cameras become cheaper, the computers become cheaper. So every 6 months, the cost comes down. So it's these guys are very smart in that they're paying attention to the latest technology, and they're using that to bring the cost down of making their films. And that will allow them to increase the quality with what money they have available. So I think everybody attending this class is on the right track. And I think all filmmakers in Nepal should pay attention to these guys, because they know what's up.
Yeah, and we've seen it firsthand actually, because the people that are attending all the classes in Los Angeles and in the United States and Berlin and other countries, they are the people that are paying attention to bleeding edge technology. They're driving the market. They're telling everybody else, here's what we need to do. And all the people that didn't pay attention, or they said, or didn't embrace technology and change, they're out of business now. They've gone out of business and they're no longer working. And so, so these guys will be working for us.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you Justin for this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
दर्शकबिन आजको यस विशेष प्रस्तुतिबाट म मनोज थापा लगायत दिव्य दर्शन टेलिभिजनका सम्पूर्ण युनिटलाई बिदा दिनुहोस्। धन्यवाद।